That's my guy who had a little slip right there because
Okay.
I don't know how
Okay.
I don't know how many times I've been in meetings with Coach Belichick, and I mean the very first meeting is I don't care about anything in the past. And we win Super Bowls last year doesn't matter. Pro Bowls don't matter. All pros don't matter. Everything you've done last year doesn't matter, fellas. It's about who we are going forward. And this is what the good teams do. Players hold coaches accountable also when they get off message. And right now, Coach Belichick is off message. That is something that his players shouldn't hear, that he is, basing some optimism to fans on what I've done in the past for the past 25 years. It's really not something that I've heard Bill say I don't know if I've ever heard Bill mention something like that in terms of his whole body of work and how that I'll do going forward. It was surprising to me, okay? I mean, and that's what I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on in that locker room now, but players can hold coaches accountable. I've done it with Bill before. When he said things post games or during the week that I did not like, and we had discussions in captain's meetings or after games or whatever. But I'm not in that locker room anymore. I'm hearing it, and now I'm just surprised because that is not the Bill Belichick that I know.
Okay, so I get it. I hear that. And Marcus, I can tell that you agree. Let me give the other side of this, which is to say, again, I'm not a player. I didn't in there. No one has ever delivered that message to me. But there is a part of me that kind of appreciates Bill Belichick at this point looking the world in the face and saying, Google me. It's sort of like the world has forgotten what this guy has accomplished. It all became about Brady. Brady went down to Tampa, won a Super Bowl, and he had one bad year. Bill made one bad decision. No debate. He made a terrible decision last year not to have an offensive coordinator, and it set them back a little bit last year. But that does not overrun the fact, it does not completely make irrelevant to me, Marcus, the fact that this guy is the most successful head coach in the history of the NFL. So to quote a great scholar, I can see Bill looking in the mirror or looking in the cameras and saying nowadays everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips, just a bunch of gibberish, and everybody act like they forgot about Bill. What do you think of that, Marcus?
I hate everything you just said, and I love you to death, okay?
Yeah.
Because, G, you know what's happening? You know what's happening right now,
what?
G? You still killing it on TV, right?
Yeah.
So somebody come out and say, Greeny, hey, man, what's going on? Oh, we're going to kill it. We're going to do great on Get Up this year. I'm looking forward to the year. You don't bring up the fact that you in the damn Radio Hall of Fame. You know what that means? That means you resting on laurels that people don't care about anymore. We know that this business is a what have you done for me lately. That's what Bill Belichick preaches. That's what Nick Saban preached, who comes from the same tree. That's what Bill Parcells preached, who comes from the same tree. I've sat in meetings with Bill Parcells and Nick Saban when they said last year doesn't matter. Coming off of Super Bowls, like Teddy just said with Bill Belichick. Coming off national championships with Nick Saban. Bill Parcells coming off a good season. It does not matter. We start over. Bill Belichick has one playoff appearance in the last 3 years. Any other coach would be talking about firing him. We sat on this show a few months ago and wanted to fire Mike McCarthy for winning 24 games in 2 years. Bill
But
Belichick,
that's the point.
25 and 25
You're making my point. On that regard, you're making my point for me. But no one is talking about firing Bill Belichick because he's won 6 championships.
Nobody's talking about firing him.
That's what I mean.
Nobody's talking about firing him. We
So
talking
we're
about him
resting
talking
on
about the
his
last
laurels.
25 years. I tell you this too. There's a common denominator between great coaches and great players. Phil Jackson coincidentally coached Michael Jordan and freaking Kobe Bryant and Shaq. Okay,
Right.
He's known as a great coach. Bill Belichick coached Teddy Bruschi. We all know Tom Brady is the main culprit. Everybody talk about. He coached Richard Seymour, Vince Wilfork. Show me the guys on these rosters why Bill Belichick should be confident. The Patriots are the 4th best team in their division based on personnel. That is rare for a New England Patriots team.
I want my coach. If I'm in that locker room, I want my coach to hold himself to the same standards that he puts on me. Because I know the standards that he's putting on those players, how he's putting on the players about past work and past accomplishments and moving forward. So I don't even want to hear you slip. I don't even want to hear you slip because I want you to be on the same message that you're preaching to us in team meetings. And that's the whole thing that players need to also tell these coaches. And that's probably the reason why they failed last year too. They weren't able to look their coaches in the eye and say, no, I don't think that's right. I want to do this. Because I've had young coaches when I was there, a new linebacker coach, a new defensive coordinator. Can you work with those guys to help them become better coaches as veteran players too? That's what they don't have right now.
Mike T, you have sauntered with Bill Belichick in your life, so you obviously have a relationship as well. What is your reaction to this?
He held himself accountable. Listen to what Teddy said. Bill Belichick would hold players accountable. Bill Belichick held Bill Belichick accountable. He's not trotting out Joe Judge and Matt Patricia for year two. He went out and got Bill O'Brien. So I think he did hold himself accountable. I do think he had a bad day yesterday. And if Bill Belichick talked to Bill Belichick last night, what he would have said to himself was, ignore the noise. That's what he would always tell all of us. Ignore the noise. Yeah. It doesn't matter what Mike Reese asked you. Go get Mac Jones better. Go get DeAndre Hopkins. Go draft an offensive lineman, and you're going to have a really good team in 2023 and ignore everything else.
All right, David, do you have time?
There you go.
Oh, go ahead, Marcus. Go. Do it.
I think what you said is two different points, right? We can give Bill Belichick grace for his greatness. I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
Sure.
We can give him grace for the fact that he's been phenomenal, arguably the best coach that we've seen in the NFL. 6 championships. Like, Bill Belichick's resume is set in stone. That's why it's so surprising that he brought it up while he's still coaching. We are responding, like Teddy said, to what Bill Belichick has groomed us not to respond to, and that is the past. This the same guy that won a Super Bowl, and then the parade said no days off. Okay? Like, the players wanted days off. I was an analyst at ESPN. I wanted days off after covering the season. The man won the Super Bowl, said no days off, and he bring up the last 25 years. That's why it's surprising to people, because Bill Belichick has groomed us not to think about the past 25 years.
Okay. I get it.
And somebody needs, there's sometimes even the greatest coach in the history of the NFL needs to be reminded.
Our own Patriots reporter, Mike Reese, posted a transcript of Robert Kraft's media availability. And at the end, he writes, Kraft said Meek Mill texted him the other day that Lamar Jackson wanted to come to New England. Kraft said that would be a Bill Belichick decision. So the question, I guess, is, Devin, would it be a dream or a nightmare if the Patriots were to bring to follow the lead of Meek Mill and bring him, Lamar Jackson, to Foxborough? What do you think?
I got to follow Swagoo on this one. You have to make a call and see. Like, if you hear Lamar Jackson is interested on playing on your team, this guy won MVP of the league. He's one of the rare quarterbacks that you say he's a guy.
Right.
When he gets out there, he can go change a franchise. So you got to at least call and say, hey, Baltimore, what's up? What are we talking about here? What is it going to take?
Teddy, I think it was Ninko, trying to remember which former Patriot was on my show who first brought it up. I think it was Rob Ninkovich who first brought this up to me about a month ago. If ever there's a coach who likes the idea of doing things that are unconventional, a creative offense, whatever it is that bringing in Lamar Jackson might mean. Bill Belichick, who, we just talked about how the last 25 years have been whatever they've been. What do you think of this, Teddy? What do you think of Lamar Jackson to the Patriots?
I think Bill could craft an offense with Bill O'Brien, with Lamar Jackson. I mean, I think it's possible. I think this would be a move that's bigger than Bill has ever made, and I don't think that's something that I would anticipate. I mean, I don't think this is something that would be realistic for New England. I just think that, the tweet yesterday by Lamar, maybe New England can think, now let me offer minimum what I can possibly offer for them if they want to get out of the contract or anything like that and just get a distraction out of the locker room. But absolutely, I agree with Dev. I mean, you got to see what's up. You got to see if they'll offer that. But then, like I say, quarterbacks are sensitive people. So is Mac Jones involved in all of this? Is he a part of the deal that they send him to Baltimore? Because Mac Jones isn't going to live in the same world as Lamar Jackson if he's your quarterback, is he? You got a lot of moving parts that you have to fix here.
Yeah, as I said before, Mac Jones and a number 1 for Lamar Jackson. They have the 14th pick in the draft. Mac Jones and the 14th pick for Lamar Jackson. Who says no? Graziano, finish it up for us here, because to be clear, everyone hears, it's got to be 2 1s. It's got to be 2 1s. That's to present an offer sheet. Right. But there was also the sign and trade, or in this case, the tag and trade option, right? I mean, if Lamar Jackson works out a trade with somebody else, there are ways this can be done that are not just the 2 picks and the offer sheet, right?
Right. The smaller scale example is Devontae Adams last year when he was on the franchise tag and he wanted to be with the Raiders. They worked out the trade with the Raiders. He signed the tag. He got traded. So, yes, that could happen. You could get Lamar Jackson for something less than 2 first-round picks if you wanted to.
Let the record show that I have quoted Dr. Dre and Meek Mill on the show today. I am dropping bars as I am back from all of this. Okay. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.